like night into morning. I miss the open air, the going anywhere, riding with you like we used to. Guess I'm better off alone, never know when I'll get home, but I know that home's where the heart is. Guess I'm better off this way, moving to better days.
Hey, good afternoon, baseball fans. This is Gorgo 2005, welcoming everybody to the channel. And I need to start out with a little bit of mea culpa and a little bit of apologies and a whole lot of humbleness after yesterday's disaster. I mean, unqualified, unmitigated disaster of a stream. I went back and watched the stream again to try to figure out what the hell went on. And I figured out what the problem was. A mechanical problem with my Stream Deck. Not to get terribly technical, but it did register a double hit on one button. I hit the button once and it treated it as if I hit it twice. So, long way around the horn, I have rearranged my buttons on the Stream Deck so that if I'm traveling around from one part of the Stream Deck to another part of the Stream Deck, I don't have anything of consequence behind the traveling buttons that allow me to travel around from place to place. So if anything happens to double click or double hit, it will be inconsequential, because I'll tell you that double hit caused so many problems, a whole domino effect of disaster that brought us to a place where I wasn't figuring out what was going on. Folks in chat were trying to let me know, but I could not see. But I've improved my chat visibility a little bit. I've on my separate screen up here, I've got a El Cheapo laptop that I have up here running an alt account doing my Twitch channel. And I can see my chat from there. And I can try to keep a good eye on it. But I improved my visibility up there by changing the Windows accessibility settings to magnify the screen by a little bit so I can read it better from this distance of about, say, maybe 2 feet. Again, apologies for the mess from yesterday. We're hoping to have eliminated every last one of our technical difficulties. We have the audio figured out, and hopefully I now have the Stream Deck and everything else figured out so that it doesn't present any more problems. I spent quite a bit of time off stream talking to a support person at Elgato, that's the company that makes the Stream Deck. And while I raised the possibility of a double hit on a single touch of a button, there was no acknowledgement of it on the other end. But I did have to remind the support person, well, are you aware of the different cases that are out there on the internet of people getting the exact same thing? And he did not acknowledge that particular piece of research that I did, or the veracity thereof. But I found plenty of evidence to support the notion that a double hit can exist as a mechanical problem on a Stream Deck. So what I managed to do, I thunk up a way to do it halfway in my dreams last night, and that was just to eliminate everything behind my traveling button, so that if I happen to double hit a traveling button to go from one place to another, it only registers one hit because there's nothing behind it on the other end. Okay, so long way around the horn. I think I've eliminated the possibility of such a thing happening again. Now, chat might run away from me from time to time. I'll still try to stay on top of it as best I can, but it was running rampant yesterday, with folks talking back and forth with each other, and also trying to notify me, hey man, you got problems with your stream. And I'm going blah, 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 blah. Trying to figure out, okay, what in the hell's going on here? But I think we have a handle on it now. Hopefully we are more in command, because there's only room for one person on this channel to be in command, and that would be me. So anyway, without further ado, and we do have about a little over 8 minutes left to our first ad break, why don't we go ahead and get into the game and see what kind of trouble we can stir up here. Because I have some teams to look at, my three teams, and how they fared in their seasons. At this point, they're all post-season post-mortems. My playoff push that I had on one team it started out successfully, but ended up dying a pretty ugly death in its last playoff appearance. So we will go check them out next. Let's go. Okay, so getting into the game. Nothing new in chat. Okay, there's my first drop coming home to roost. Nobody in chat saying anything, perhaps for a good reason. Okay, so anyway, let's go in. I've got the 3 tournaments active right now. I'll jump out and take a look at the 27, my longest running one, because last time I looked at it just a moment or two ago, I was through round 1. I had won my round 1 matchup. So let's see what we have going on here with my Flames, my main team in Diamond. I will be back for another Diamond season starting tomorrow, because we did make playoffs here. That's pretty much an indication of survival at this level. If I can make playoffs and try my best to avoid the drop zone, then chances are pretty good I will. But looky right here. Let's take a look at our scores and schedule first, okay? And I need to back up. No, I don't need to back up, because right here I got to playing the FFS Snails, who are owned by Snail Man, who's pretty well known in Discord and possibly also here on the Twitch side. Leo Remus has something to say. I'll go back and check it out in just a moment. But I swept him in the wild card series because I earned a wild card slot by 1 game, and I clinched that wild card spot with 1 sim remaining in the middle of the night last night. I guess at 1 a.m. Eastern time is when I clinched. 1:30 was when league play was done. But anyway, I swept my wild card series, which was a best of 3 against these Snails. Then I came up against Glaze, if you're familiar with that manager name, also in Discord as Glaze, and his Fiji Jayhawks. They have a fun logo that looks kind of like a demented Kansas Jayhawk with a nose ring and a Fiji tattoo on the wing there. So anyway, the Fiji Jayhawks turned around and they swept me in the division series 3-0, and there you can see the manager name Glaze. That he's Glaze all over the place. I'm not sure what, if any, name he carries on Discord, but I'm sorry, not on Discord, but on Twitch. But he's known as Glaze just about everywhere else. He won a division at 88 and 74. I came in. If I take a look at the league playoff tree here, you'll see that we made it. These other 2 teams up here in the other part of the bracket, these are 2 more teams from my division. So we had 3 of the 4 division series slots tied up on our side of the table. So I ended up losing out to the Fiji Jayhawks under Glaze. The Boston Americans, who are owned by Americans 1901, I believe he goes by on Discord, maybe also here. But he just eked by the Reunion Tour 2-time Diamond champions. Got by them 3-2. They took the deciding game 5, so that they earned the right to move on to play the Fiji Jayhawks of Glaze. So we have the Americans here and the Glaze down here. On the other side of the table, I think we have 2 relative unknowns, Lee's Summit Leotards, okay? I don't know that they've ever won a Diamond World Series yet, and they have not. They have no trophies up here in their trophy case. So the Lee Summit Leotards, they came in second in their division to the Yukon Silvers, owned by DC Cubs 44, and I think we already determined that the Yukon Silvers don't belong to Cubs fan 23 Steve. They are owned by another Cubs fan. And there's my first drop, came home to roost. So if we back up a screen, I need to go back up here. So the Yukon Silvers, these are the 2 top teams in that division now playing each other for the right to move on to the Diamond World Series here in 355. So one team from my division, one team that won another division, and 2 teams from the same division over here on this side of the table. It's going to be a fun series to follow. But anyway, that's how things shook out in my Diamond 355 League. So let's take a look at individual performances. My best pitcher appeared to be, at least by ERA anyway, my extreme ground baller, Kevin Brown, who, by the way, did bring home, despite his 16-13 record, he brought home the conference ERA crown and earned this old fart 1,000 perfect points on an achievement that he got for being named the ERA crown winner. So he came out 16-13 with the lowest ERA on our side of the table. Then Bullet Joe Rogan was 15-9 with a 3.88 ERA. Mad Dog here came in 13-16, and despite that record had the second best ERA on my starting rotation at 3.78. Then we had Jerry Royce at 18-12, a respectable season there, but he had a 4.11 ERA, and Gully down here at the bottom with a 10-14 record, bringing up the rear. So that's what demoted him to the bottom of the rotation, was his poor record and his relatively poor ERA. Take a look at my bullpen, and it's really not too bad. My recent acquisition here, Tex Houston, was kind of stinking up the joint for the entire bullpen crew with a 6.0 ERA. I ended up, I moved him back to normal usage not too long ago, but he ended up, he ended the season with used less often, and that's why he only had 9 innings under his belt. That plus the fact that I acquired him rather late. Okay, hang on a second, I need to back up. I need to see that one comment there that I said I was going to go address. And we were talking about, okay, Leo Remus, is that it? Okay, yes, Leo Remus was saying he won 120-ish games in gold. Okay, good for you. GG's. He lost in 4 games to a team with 83 wins. Yep, looks like I'm stuck in gold for another week. It looks that way, buddy, but I'll tell you one thing that I've learned from long experience is that postseason random number generator results are wildly different from whatever you see during the regular season. Okay, the team that knocked me out of the division series, those Fiji Jayhawks, I played them 6 games over the course of the regular season. Now, granted, they won their division, but I played them 6 times and I won 5 of the 6 games. So you would think by all accounts I should be able to continue that. No, they swept my ass easier than getting breadcrumbs off the floor. Okay, so they did pretty doggone good. Okay, Blaze had a few limited cards. I see Erie GM talking about that. You have a secondary team in Iron, had the best record for the 3rd season in a row, or 3rd season, and lost in the divisional series for the 3rd straight time. Sorry to hear that, Erie GM. Yeah, you see where Blaze had a few limited cards. Okay, so not too shabby, but still, I took 5 out of 6 games. Oh, wait a minute, Blaze. That's not Glaze who I had. You're talking Blaze, not. Was that the team that knocked you out of your Iron series? Am I cheesing the ballpark? No, I am not. Totally neutral. All 3 of my ballparks for all 3 of my teams, no cheese whatsoever. I decided going into the season I was going to try to not do cheese if at all I could help it. Okay, so we are not doing any cheese, either with the lineup or with the pitching staff or with the ballpark factors. Okay. So, yes, I see. Oh, you meant Glaze. Okay, I see Erie GM. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, you meant Glaze having a few limited cards. Yes, his lineup was nothing to sneeze at, to say the least. But there again, for whatever reason, I won 5 out of 6 games from him in the course of the regular season. So, come see, come saw. It's only a game, and we take it for what it's worth. And also, I need to give a shout out to HR Runner, who is the most recent follower on my channel, who is now up to my channel followers are now up to 702 in number. So I think I'm starting to creep above the 700 number, so that it doesn't matter if I lose one or two, I'll still be 700 plus. And I've got a sim coming in. Let's see what this has to bring, because it really won't be anything of consequence for me, except perhaps of interest to see who wins game one of the conference finals. Let's see. Let me look at my tree here. And it was too soon. The Summit Leotards played their first sim against the Yukon Silvers. The Silvers won the division. The Leotards came in second. So the Leotards, the second place team, are leading their division winners 1-0. And the Americans and the Jayhawks down here have yet to play a single game, and that's going to be in today's sim. So anyway, yes, if you look around things, just about as expected. No, I didn't do as well as I would have hoped, but I did make the playoffs. I did sweep my first round series against Snail Man and his snails. So I did have a little bit of good stuff going for me, but flamed out, quite literally, no pun intended, for the team name. We didn't have too much good to have happen to us in this series here. So GG's all the way around. Better luck next time to anybody who lost, including myself. And we'll move on from there. So I've got an ad break that I'm overdue for. Let's go ahead and do that ad break. Number one coming up. Here we go. Okay, folks, we should be back from the advertising world, and I have not moved my screen, so let's go ahead and jump out to see what's going on with that longest running tournament that I had made it through at least round number one in one piece, and I'm hoping the other two tournaments are still running, and they are. Let's take a look at this number 27 and see how I'm doing in round number two. Because I did win round one, as already noted. So we'll see what's going on with these guys. We're not opening any packs today. The big time consumer today will be running our historical simulation of the week. We have the 1976 Cincinnati Reds returning champions, and let's go Flames here. Look at that, 3-0 up on the Elmhurst Dukes in round two, owned by Dinks. And we've seen this team around a time or two or three. And yeah, we like to beat each other up a little bit, or beat up on each other. And right now I'm beating up on him 3-0, and he would have to reverse sweep me with 4 straight wins in order to knock me out of contention in this round. So I have this round to go through, and then the quarterfinals to go through before I finally, if ever, make it to my first packs of the day, other than Twitch drop packs. I've only got one of them so far. If I get to the semifinals, I'm assured of at least 3 packs. If I lose in this round, if I make it to the finals, I will get a minimum of 5 packs if I come in second, and 10 packs if I win the whole shooting match. So always hopeful of those 10-pack wins. We love them. And I can show you a little bit here. If I go to the universe and go to managers and rankings, in case you've never seen this before, here's how you find out a manager by their name and see what their accomplishments are. Like this one manager here, I was looking at KGLW because they were playing me, the Bayview Blaze, they were playing me in a tournament, and they knocked me out. But look at, they have 73 tournament wins. I have no way of knowing how many of those tournaments would have been bronze tournaments, like we were meeting each other in. I also have no idea of how many second places he had, how many semifinal losses he had, how many mission packs he had, and then he doesn't have any idea of that on my accounts. So anyway, 73 wins is pretty decent. That is no slouch of a tournament team there that knocked me out in a bronze tournament, the last one that I checked on a manager. Take a look at me. I'm going to go by first 5 letters, and we do this. And look at, I have won 124 tournaments. That is at the rate of 10 packs per tournament. That's 1,240 packs. Take that and multiply it by 6. That should come out to somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,400. Let me think now. Yeah, 7,400 plus individual cards. Okay, and that's only from tournament wins. That doesn't count 5 packs for second place. It doesn't count 3 packs for a semifinal loss. It doesn't count any mission packs that I pick up. It doesn't count any other types of packs that I pick up through whatever means I get them. But that just gives you an idea of how powerful tournament teams can be to help your team out. That if an old fart like me can win 124 times at this point in the game cycle, anybody can do it. Okay? And we are ready for this next sim to come in. So let's see if I end up sweeping those Elmhurst Dukes. And no, they took game 4, rather handily, 12-6. Let's hope this is not the beginning of a reverse sweep. Please, RNG deities, I'm praying. No reverse sweep. You hear me? It's like one of my favorite Serenity prayers. Lord, grant me patience right now. Okay, so let's get out of here, and we got to take a look at team number 2, my Finneytown Wildcats, who were in silver. And as we last looked at them yesterday, they were in severe danger of falling into the drop zone. Let's see how they ended up. 39 Cobra says we keep missing each other in the bronze tourneys. Okay, that means you're losing out before, or I'm losing out before, or we're both losing out before we have a chance to meet. Entirely understood. Hopefully we will someday here, Cobra. Who knows? Who knows? We might just do it sometime. Okay, I've got some Iron Best of 5 I need to spam. So there's one right. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Blast. Okay, let me withdraw from that one. Okay, now mouse, behave for me. Alrighty, so we will jump in and see what my Wildcats ended the season with. And as already stated, these Wildcats ended up in silver, 251. And Hank Aaron got him a 30-30 award. Good for him. Okay, I was glad to see that. Bringing up the division basement. I've got splinters in my knuckles from scraping the bottom of the barrel inside my division. 15 whole games out of the division lead and 10 games away from a tie for third place. Ha ha ha. So let's see how we came out in the entire league. Okay, now I have to go to promotion relegation standings to show you the almost ugly tale. But take a look here. I ended up, you see it, one entire game above the drop zone. 72-90. And the only reason these Beacon Green Ghoulies didn't make the drop zone was because of some sort of a tiebreaker system between them and the Charlotte Gilded. Because they had the same season record, but there was some sort of a tiebreaker that determined Charlotte was going to be here inside relegation, and the Ghoulies were not going to be sent down. And I ended up tied with these Ithaca Gorges at 72 and 90. We were both only one game away from relegation. And that's going to be a call that my wife is going to want to take. Yes, it might be one of her people from her study group. So anyway, what we have here, you see what they ended up with, and Hank Aaron got him a 30-30, and I've had so many people ask me, how does Hank Aaron steal so many bases? Well, let's put it this way. His stealing and got caught stealing record is not perhaps the greatest, but I do have his steal slider turned up on all three teams where I have him, okay? I have it turned up to next to the highest setting on the steal, okay? So he is generally going to be a 2020 player for me, but in this particular season, we'll see how he ended up 30-30, okay? Let's see here. Now I'm going to go with home runs over here. He ended up with 35 home runs and exactly 30 stolen bases. He got caught one time out of 4 every time he would try to steal. And that was one of his better percentages, quite frankly, that where he had a 75% success rate, or actually a little bit more than 75%, because he only got caught stealing 9 times instead of 10, which would have made it an even 75%. So it was actually 30 out of 39 times, which would be higher than 75%. So anywho, that's my Hank Aaron on my silver team. But that wasn't enough to keep us from near disaster. So he was one of the top batters on the team. In fact, tied for the top. Oh no, Shoeless Joe batted 283. Let's sort this in batting average order. Oh wait, Ed Delahanty had a 287. Then Shoeless Joe a 283. Then I had Hammerin' Hank and DJ LeMahieu, the live DJ, that I had playing some utility infield for me because he backs up multiple positions. He wasn't in any more than 77 games, and managed to bat 280 along with Hammerin' Hank. But Billy Hamilton, Fred Pfeffer, they had halfway decent seasons. Perfect Luis Gonzalez, 263. Jimmy Fox at 258. Okay, Gabby Hartnett there. Davey Concepcion, 250. Only one batter on the interstate, and that was big, strong Iron Man George Foster, who ended the season on a cold streak. In fact, look at my 2 Reds cards on my Wildcats team here. Both ended the season with icy cold streaks. So, anywho, that's what these guys are looking like. Let's look at our pitching. And we didn't have any of our starting pitchers with positive records, okay? Nobody here had a positive winning percentage, okay? Now here, if I look at things this way, Raleigh Fingers had a 7-3 overall record, and he looks like he was my top percentage pitcher, and he had a 5.05 ERA. That's not the greatest ERA, so he was, let's say, perhaps a little inconsistent at best. But he was in my next to last bullpen role, but he still had a 7-3 record. So when he was the pitcher of record, he had a pretty decent set of stats as far as wins and losses go. But these guys needed some help. They still need some help. I may do a little bit of lineup shuffling because I still have all of my live rewards left over. Okay? All of my live rewards are still left over from completing the live missions. I haven't gotten any other missions of note done yet, and you've noted that if you've been following my streams when I open packs, you'll see that nothing has been kind enough to me to allow me to finish missions lately. We also haven't been doing too well on tournaments. So I still haven't made it over to Warbot TBD's stream to see what their Iron tournament analysis looked like, I was going to use the same best of 7 analysis and apply it to even my best of 5 Iron Tournament team, which is this team. This team plays Iron best of 5s. The next team we're going to go see, my Juggernauts, they play Ace of Iron, which is a best of 7 Iron tournament series. So anyway, that's what we have going here. Pretty complete look at these guys. They just barely avoided relegation, so they get to fight in silver for another day. Now let's go ahead and spam another Iron best of 5, and there's that one done. And let's go ahead and leave these guys, and we'll jump over to take a look at my Juggernauts. Okay, got some Ace of Iron I need to spam. So let's get to that first one. Okay, got 18 more teams to fill that one up. So these guys here had the roughest season of any of my 3, because they got promoted to gold last season, and their first and only season in gold so far did not treat them so kindly. And I happen to note in the Discord that this team was the personification of the Peter Principle. If you're familiar with that management theory book from eons ago, I mean, like that book is probably 30, 40 years old, thereabouts. But it espouses the principle that in a hierarchy, a person has the tendency to keep rising in the hierarchy until he or she reaches his or her level of incompetence. This team reached its level of incompetence at gold. They got promoted until they got to their level of incompetence, and now they're going to get knocked back to the next level down. Here's how that happened. Looking in the promotion relegation, right here we go. 6 games deep in the drop zone. Third from the bottom, 13 games better than the very, very bottom, these bangers, okay? And 9 games better than the Boston Warhawks, but 5 games behind the Stony Creek Seagulls, who ended up being only 1 silly little game away from escaping relegation. But they get to go back to silver, same as my Juggernauts, so my Juggernauts will be joining their silver brethren, already silver brethren, forever silver brethren, the Wildcats. So there will be 2 posts for in silver for each team is going to be posting in silver. So it's like a double posting I'll have in there in silver. Anytime that they've been at the same level, I end up putting them all their stuff in the same status post in whatever level they're in. And in this case, they're back in the saddle again together in silver. So they will be cooking their own gooses and trying to cook others in the same level of play in silver. That's what the 4th highest level of competition in the game. If we take a look at the universe, we confirm that. Because I just need to, for my own verification, yes, 4th highest level is where silver is. Gold is the third highest level, diamond is the 2nd highest level, and of course Perfect League, which stands above all the others by itself, is the very top level of competition. And I still have, on my Flames anyway, a dream of making it to that league in a live game cycle. I've done it once when it wasn't a live game cycle in Perfect Team 21, but have never done it since then, whether the game cycle is active or not active. Okay, only 4 relegated is low. I think that's the algorithm, Erie GM. I think that's the algorithm. That's easy for me to say. It's the algorithm that they've been following for the last number of seasons. You take a look over here, and you take a look at the entire universe. You're seeing 4 and 4 and 4 all the way up to Diamond until you get to 1 and 5. Diamond relegates 5. All the other levels relegate or promote for, okay? Rookie only promotes. It does not relegate because there's nothing underneath of Rookie League except for the nominal entry pool, which doesn't really count as a level except for first timers. It is a level, a legitimate level for people just joining the game or just starting up a team from scratch. So, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. It got derailed. So rookie level doesn't demote anybody. Stone level, 4 up, 4 down. Same thing with iron, same thing with bronze, same thing with silver, same thing with gold. So when you get to diamond, you only have 1 promotee and 5 relegees that get pushed down. So, and look at perfectly. The bottom 24 teams, regardless of how nice your record was, out of 40 teams, only the top 16 get to stay. The bottom 24, they get pushed back down to diamond. Okay? So anyway, that's what's going on with these juggernauts. I didn't really expect too much out of them this season because I thought they got set up to gold a little before they were ready, and it turns out I was right that they weren't quite ready for gold competition yet because these juggernauts, just like my number 2 team, the Wildcats, they are packs only. They do not go out and buy cards that they need for their team. There are 2 different flavors, and to revisit this one more time for folks that don't know the difference, there are 2 different flavors of packs only. They're both legitimate, both of them followed by a pretty sizable number of people that do packs only. The one flavor, which is the one I do not follow, is the one that takes mission rewards that are earned by cards that you draw from packs. It takes those mission reward cards and sells them, and then uses the sale proceeds to buy more packs and then draw players for their teams out of those packs. They don't use mission rewards on their teams. The other flavor of packs only is the one that I follow, and that's the one that uses mission rewards on their teams. But they still, the one thing that the 2 flavors have in common is that they do not use the card shop to buy cards. They depend on the packs, or in the one other view's case, the mission rewards that those packs produce and earn and win can play on the team. The other flavor says, nope, mission rewards are not packs only. I tend to think of them as being like a purist point of view, but like I said, both points of view are legit, and they both have plenty of adherence of people that follow one way or the other. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, packs only teams kind of are at a disadvantage, let's put it that way. Regardless of what flavor they play, they are at a decided disadvantage because they do not buy cards that other teams are allowing themselves to buy. So anyway, I think we are done here. Wait a minute, I didn't look at my performances yet. Or did I? Oh yeah, look at here. You think the Wildcats had it rough on the pitching front? Looky here. Looky here. Clayton Kershaw with an 8-16 record was my lowest ERA, 4.08. And then we had Nolan Ryan at 6-21. Ugh, stinko. Okay, with a 4.51, and Leon Day, who was a card that I drew. Okay, he is at a 4.61 clip and only 10-16. He was perhaps my most successful starting pitcher of any and all of them. If I take a look at just wins and losses over here, looks like Zach Britton at 5-3 didn't do too badly. Right there, R.A. Dickey was 4-1. He was the best percentage-wise. He was 800 on his win-loss percentage, and Zach Britton was a 6.25 with his 5-3 record. And then Armando Benitez was just under 500 at 6-7, and just over 500 was Schilling. And here's a 6.67 percentage on Mark Pryor, 50-50 for Pedro, and this is the mission reward Pedro. Okay, so let's see there. Rob Deere in the headlights, because the total number of teams is way lower than last year. Oh, I see. That's a good way of looking at it there, Rob Deere. I appreciate that insight. I did not realize that the total number of teams is lower than the previous year. Okay, and I'm sorry to hear that it's way lower and only results in those that number of promotees and relegation teams. I hope that's not signaling the end of this game. I hope not. I sincerely hope not. I want this game to last for several years, at least until I'm done playing games, okay? And I go all the way back to the 1970s and the first iteration of Pong, if you remember that electronic game that was available for home use. I had me a Pong machine that I got from J.C. Penney, and it would play on our black and white TV and also on our color TV. I'd take turns switching the thing around with inputs to go into different TVs. Whichever TV was not in use, I would go and plug into that thing and play Pong for hours on end. But that's another story. Anyway, that's what these guys are up to. What are my lineups looking like? We did have one decent batting average for my tournament reward, Chicken Wolf, one of my few gold cards that I have that in use on any of my teams. But he's a very, very hot tournament reward card. Look and see what his numbers look like on his card. It doesn't look reasonable for a gold card. You would think this is a low diamond card otherwise. With right field defense of 99, with a 104 BABIP, holy smokes, 97 contact, 83 gap power, woo! And his stealing numbers aren't too shabby either. Stealing and base running, not bad at all. So Chicken Wolf is a very, very good card, and you see, yes, he was a tournament reward that I got from high placement in a perfect draft tournament that I did. So anyway, we're late for another ad break. Let's go ahead and get to our next ad break, and we will see you in a minute. Take care. Catch you in a moment. Okay, gang, we should be back by now. I was catching up on chat, and Erie GM is wondering if that about the lower number of teams affecting the number of promotions. Perhaps so, because I would say that the total pool of teams should affect the number of promotions. What if it was 8 and 8? I have no way of knowing. Okay, and Extreme UW is saying that he still has his Pong game. Mine got let's say relegated to electronic gadget heaven. I played that sucker to death. It died ugly, and it died hard, but after about 10 to 12 years of use. It really, really died hard. Okay, the delay in the release contributing to the number of players, that's hard to say there, DeGoist. I really don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, because I don't have the analysis tools in front of me to be able to tell you. And the same thing there, Erie GM saying who's doing the future collections with Chris Jardine gone. I'm not sure if Dishnet, I think that Dishnet does have some contributions that he has made, especially with that birthday set that he did. He was responsible, I believe, for at least the birthday set. He has not claimed, to the best of my knowledge, directly being responsible for any other content being dropped in the game. Okay, I really do not know who does all that. I would assume that somebody at the upper echelons is making those decisions in the absence of said Mr. Jardine here. Okay. And Rob Deere in the headlight says the late delay of the game would have really cut into our numbers, and I would tend to agree. You know, the more you think back on it, you know it had to make some sort of a negative impact, and that we can thank our good friends at Amazon for, because it was their decision to drop the back end service that threw everybody, and I mean everybody, for such a loop. Okay. So I've got another sim coming in on this. This is my Wildcats team, as I remember. No. That's not my Wildcats. Or is it? It's the Juggernauts. That's right. Yeah, they ended up 62 and 100. Okay, they're the ones that have Chicken Wolf down here at the bottom of their order. Their only other 100 is Hank Aaron, besides Live. Oh no, we don't have Live AJ Minter on this team. He's on my number 2 team, the Wildcats. Okay, I don't have a Minter that I can throw into the mix on this outfit. So anyway, hey, is something happened on the channel? We have us. Hey, Sean Saul 10, thank you so much for your Prime subscription. I've got something special just for you.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best.
So thank you, Sean Saul, for your subscription to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Jason Henke says he was so Pong obsessed as well as a kid. Used to hunt them at garage sales as a kid. Look, a new Pong machine, Ma. Only a quarter. Now, idiot. Okay, now this is going to be a really facetious and loaded question for you there, Jason Henke. Okay, who were you calling idiots? The people selling it for only a quarter, or your parents for not popping for the quarter? Oh, then when the Atari hit, your soul was lost. Okay, I hate to tell you this. On this setup that I've got here, I've got so many different things available to me right here in my man cave that it's like an embarrassment of riches. I have a TV card inside my PC, so I can pick up all the local channels. I also have streaming services on a Roku stick that's hooked into my monitor, that if I just hit an HDMI switch, just flip it over to input number 2 instead of number 3. Number 3 is coming from the PC, and that's the one that's on right now. But number 2 is my Roku stick, so I can stream incoming content off of that. And then my HDMI switch number 1 is my El Cheapo cheap Chinese Nintendo knockoff that's got like 600 games built into it, including some really bootleg stuff, like and they're all 8-bit games, or every last one of them 8-bit games. So they have all the pixelation and everything. But I've got 2 of my Mario games on that cheap knockoff that only cost me like $35. I have 2 games on there that feature, are you ready for this? Naked Mario. Yeah. Naked Mario is on 2 of my games on that cheap machine, okay? So, the last week of Perfect Team 22, cash in your perfect points this week. Erie GM, that's very good advice, except I'm letting my perfect points sit. I'm letting my over 700 packs sit. Nothing much more to say about that one. I had up to 1,100 packs that I'd accumulated on Perfect Team 22 that I was going to let my grandson, my 9-year-old grandson, he ended up opening over 400 of them before he got sick and tired of opening packs. But he did get his day made when he drew his very first perfect cards. He drew me a live perfect and an historic perfect. Okay, so yeah, I remember that the historic perfect that he drew was 100 Joe Torre. I can't remember the live perfect that he drew, but the historic perfect was Joe Torre, and that was probably the last time I get to let him open packs, at least on old versions of the game, because those old versions are all going by the wayside here very, very quickly. So, buy perfect packs? If they're open, if they're for sale over there, I could maybe do that just for grins and giggles. But if my team is all perfect cards anyway, what good's it going to do me? maybe give me something good to do. Well, my grandson is the one that lives 3.5 hours away, so it's a little difficult, and especially me with my slightly advancing age, I don't know if I trust myself to drive long distances that much anymore. But he came down here to visit when I gave him the chance to open all those 1,100 packs, and he only got through 400 or so before he got sick and tired of opening packs. He went on to do some other stuff, to play with his cousins. So instead of playing with Papa, I let him rip cards to his rip packs to his heart's content, and he reached his heart's content at about 418, 419 packs. I think it was somewhere in that neighborhood before his interest really went by the wayside. So I don't know how anxious he will be to ask to open packs in the future, because I gave him more than his fill. He was practically belching from the overdose of packs that I gave him. Okay, so anyway, we've looked at these guys long enough, I do believe, to see what they did and what they were capable of. But these guys are going to be going back to silver starting tomorrow morning, and they will join their silver brethren, the Wildcats, at that particular juncture. So we are ready to maybe get started with an historical simulation of the week. Let me get another Ace of Irons spamming here. Oh yeah, decent tune. Okay. Okay. Okay, we like to do these historical simulations back on the number 1 team so that I can stay spammed on my tournaments. Okay. Okay. And you notice that we've had a minimum of technical difficulties today. In fact, none so far. So I think I've got those pretty much eliminated, because I've eliminated the chance for the Stream Deck to pull a double click on me. Okay? So I hate the idea of that, because that's what caused all those dominoes to fall that made yesterday's stream such an unmitigated disaster. Okay, we are working on our 4th drop right now. This is going towards Wednesday's next pack rip. Okay, so let us go down here to the historical exhibition, and what I need to do is, okay, like I did for my packs transition, I need to do an historical exhibition transition as well. But I don't know where I'm going to put it, because my screen is pretty well full right now on the Stream Deck. I've already done a lot of moving around to eliminate the possibility of the double clicks. But I want to make a transition to get to the historical simulation of the week that I only run on Sundays, and then I also want to do another one for our giveaways, which also hits on Sunday. So I have 2 pieces of word art that I need to do inside of PowerPoint in order to take advantage of those opportunities laid open to me. So without further ado, let's get to our historical exhibition of the week. It's the 1976 Cincinnati Reds, the returning champions, that are going to be playing their next challenger, which is a team we've not seen before, and this one should be fun. Okay, let us get into things here. And I bet you won't be able to tell from the era and the year that I'm choosing here. Okay, I'm going all the way back to dead ball. Okay, and I'm choosing 1904, and I'm going to leave the team open for now. Okay, I'll pick a team in the moment, but here the home team is going to be from baseball's boom, and it's going to be 76. The team, the Big Red Machine, that knocked out the Yankees in a 4-game sweep. Okay, just a decided rout. in that 1976 World Series. Okay, so that's who we're playing down here as the home team. I'm going to do away with injuries. And who's going to be my next team? Extreme UW is guessing the Giants. Good guess, but wrong. Okay, they were a decent team that year. In fact, they did great. If you look at the blurb here, that the New York Giants were the National League champions. Okay, so anyway, excuse me. The team that I'm choosing for the 1976 Reds to play against is a team that had their best record of the early 1900s in the year 1904. And that would be, guess who, but the 1904 Cincinnati Reds, who went 88-65. So it's another Reds versus Reds. Oh, yep. Okay. So we are going to have one version of the Reds from the dead ball era with a lot of early players, in fact all early players, playing against arguably one of the very, very best teams that ever got on a diamond, the 1976 Big Red Machine. So that's going to be our historical simulation today, and we will get this going. I'm going to go ahead and create it. It's going to be 7 games, 2, 3, and 2. And we're turning off the DH. We're disabling injuries. And we have the active roster limit of 25 players. So we're going to not use the 1904 settings though. We're going to use the 1976 settings. I wanted to make sure I had all my settings the way I wanted them. Okay, so we are looking good. Let's go ahead and create it. Here we go. The year that McGraw refused to play in the American League. Back then, that would have been a really big deal there, Extreme UW, because of the reserve clause, which was very much in effect back then. He was one of the first examples of an individual trying to exert a little bit of muscle over ownership. Okay, so let us move on, and we will get ready to play ball here. And we see the lineups. We have Noodles Hahn, who's a 100 in Perfect Team 22. Let's see, anybody else here? Heine Peets, okay, we've seen him before on a card. Gabby Street, we've seen him on a card before. And Tommy Corcoran, he's got an active card in Perfect Team 22. I'm not too familiar with any of these others. I don't know if anybody has been playing them. Admiral Schley, or Schley, whatever, I'm guessing Schley because it looks very Germanic. Admiral Schley, okay. That's a name I'd never ever heard before or seen before, quite frankly, okay. But let's see. Decent numbers that season. He batted 237 with a 297 on base percentage and a 285 slugging, okay. Well, not too terribly impressive, but still, the name's as impressive as any as I've seen from back there in the dead ball era. But take a look at my Reds. Oh my goodness. What a set of arms we have here in the starting rotation and in the bullpen. Jack Billingham, who ordinarily would have been a starter, okay? He is doing middle relief, I'm pretty sure. And Will McEnany, longtime bullpen arm. Manny Sarmiento, same thing. Raleigh Eastwick, same thing. But take a look here. We got JB and Bill Plummer behind the plate. And look at the rest of that lineup. That is legendary stuff there. Okay, and we have a brand new follower on the channel, MaxFire5. Thank you so much for your follow. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate all of our followers, every single one of you that come in here and spend time with the old fart. Okay, so we are ready. Let's get ready to play us some ball, and we're going to simulate. We're going to keep simulating games until we get to a game of consequence, and then we will probably play that dude out. Okay, so game number 1 is Noodles Hahn, who only went 16 and 18 that season, but look at that stellar 2.06 ERA. not too shabby. And Pat Zachary with the 76 Reds, 14-7 with a 274, not too shabby either. So let's move on and simulate game one and see who takes game number one between the 1904 Reds and the 1976 Reds. In fact, I'm going to do something else before I start the simulation. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. In this corner. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. In this corner, we got these guys. Okay, so let's simulate game number one and see how it came out. All right, here we go. Oh, Maxfire 5 accidentally hit the unfollow button. Ooh. Okay, well, thanks for catching that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it greatly, as always. Okay, let's go and get into something here. And the 76 Reds took the game 2-0. A nice little pitcher's duel between two really good pitchers. And Tony Perez, Doggy Perez, hits his first home run of the series. Let's look at the box score. And it appears, okay, 2 single runs. So that means Perez's home run was a solo shot. And he did it in the bottom of the fourth. Okay, how did the Reds get their first inning run? I guess we will find out here in a bit. Very low scoring affair. And who did what? Okay, Griffey Sr. went 1 for 4. Foster went 1 for 3, doing better than he did on my other team. Okay, there's Doggy with his 2 strikeouts, 2 left on base, but he still got himself a solo shot, which was not bad. Geronimo went 0 for, JB went 0 for, Concepcion went 0 for. But Pat Zachary, the pitcher, he got a hit where these other guys couldn't. Look at Little Joe couldn't get a hit. Neither could Peter Edward Rose, the game's hit king. He didn't have a hit. But the pitcher managed to get a hit. So anyway, let's go take a look, and we will look in the bottom of the first in the game log and see how the Reds got their first run, which ended up being enough for them to win. Okay, so we got a leadoff triple from Ken Griffey Sr.
Oh, baby, a triple! Oh, yeah!
Okay, and then Peter Edward Rose hit a fly out to center field that was deep enough between center and right with a nice little lofty exit velocity of 95.6 that was able to get Ken Griffey Sr. to tag up and score on the throw from center field. So that's how the Reds got their first, and eventually, if you consider the 2-0 shutout, that this was the winning run right here. And then Foster came in with that single run shot in the bottom of the fourth, right here. Oh, no, Doggy Perez. It wasn't Foster. Okay. Doggy Perez, Atanasio Perez Regal from the island nation of Cuba, hit the solo home run to put the Reds up on top 2-0 with the insurance run, and they ended up taking the whole shooting match here in game number one. So let's go ahead and finish game number one. We are about 7 minutes or 8 minutes away, I think, 8.5 minutes away from our next ad break. So we are ready to simulate this one. It's going to be Bob Ewing from the 1904 Reds playing Freddie Norman, a lefty on the mound for the 76 Reds. I almost said the Reds, but how are you going to tell one Reds from the other? Freddie Norman was a celebrated lefty, and Bob Ewing was a righty. Okay, Ewing's record he went 11-13 in 2004 or 1904, I should say. Freddie Norman in 76 went 12-7. So let's simulate game number two, because we're playing this in Riverfront Stadium, and our next 3 games are going to take place in, I guess by then it was called Redlands Field, which eventually became Crosley Field, which was the predecessor to Riverfront Stadium, which was the predecessor to today's Great American Ballpark. So anyway, let's see what's going on here with this simulation. And whoops, oh, look at another low scoring affair, but the 1904 Reds managed to scrape a run across to make it a respectable 2-1 finish. So the pitchers are the winners of these games so far, that we have 4 solid pitching performances here, and the 76 Reds come out on top one more time, but only by a score of 2-1. We had no home runs in the game. Let's see how the Reds got their stuff here. Look at the box score. Okay, so in the bottom of the first, Cesar Geronimo got hit by a pitch and drove in a run versus Bob Ewing. So the bases were loaded, and Cesar, the Chief, got hit with a pitch, and that drove in a run. Then, bottom of the first, there's another run that came in. That's where the Reds got both their runs in the bottom of the first. JB drew a walk and drove in a run. So between the hit by pitch and the bases loaded hit by pitch and the bases loaded walk, Bob Ewing was his own worst enemy by doing those 2 little pitching miscues to those people there with the bases loaded and all the ducks on the pond. Ouch. That's a hard way to lose a game, but if it happens, it happens. Tommy Corcoran did, in the top of the second, get on an error by the third baseman, who would have been Pete Rose, I do believe. Yep, Pete Rose was the third baseman, and it drove in 1 run for the 1904 Reds. Okay, and that was about the size of that particular game. Not much to see offensively, but a lot going on in the pitching department. The pitching lines: Freddie Norman went 7 innings, gave up 4 walks, only had 1 strikeout, threw 103 pitches, didn't give up a run. And Raleigh Eastwood came in to get the save, pitched 2 innings of scoreless and 2-hit relief. Okay, 2-hit relief with 1 strikeout, no walks, and he did those 2 innings in only 21 pitches. Woo, pretty decent stuff. Bob Ewing went 7 innings, gave up only 4 hits, but 2 runs, and they were both unfortunately earned because of the walk and the hit by pitch that drove in those 2 runs that he ended up losing by. 6 walks, that hurt him right there too. And only 3 strikeouts with 114 pitches. A decent and respectable 2.57 ERA, but he still had to take it on the chin for the L. And the 1904 Reds are facing, going into a travel day, going back to 1904 Redlands Field. It might have even been called the Palace of the Fans back in those days, but I'm fairly sure, because there were 3 different iterations of a ballpark on that site on Western Avenue in downtown Cincinnati. And we'll talk more about that when we actually get to that field. Okay, so let us go and get out of here and go back to the play ball. And we are going to finish the day, and we are on a travel day, so nothing going on here. So tomorrow is going to turn into today once I hit the finish today. And we are at, let me see, what was the name of the field in 1904? We're going to find out. I'm going to find out real quick. Oh, interesting. Okay, where the heck was that? That's a field I guess I never heard of that existed in the Reds' past. Something called Carson Field. Okay. 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 Oh. Oh ho ho. Carson Field. Are you ready for this one? I never knew this about my own hometown Reds. Carson Field, where they played their home games in 1904, was located at the University of Cincinnati Nippert Stadium. That stadium was built by one of the founders of Procter & Gamble, Mr. James Gamble, in memory of his grandson, Jimmy Nippert. Okay? James Gamble Nippert played football for the University of Cincinnati and ended up dying of a blood infection that they figure, perhaps most accurately, as coming from a cleat injury that he had in a football game where they were playing somebody else. But it was the game was played on a muddy field immediately after a grab or catch the chickens contest on the field. Okay? That chicken droppings got into the mud and would have caused the gangrenous infection that ended up killing Jimmy Nippert, who was James Gamble's grandson via James Gamble's daughter, Maud Nippert. Okay, Maud Gamble Nippert. Now, I have been to the Nippert family gravesite at Spring Grove Cemetery in Cincinnati. Maud Gamble, James Gamble's daughter, is interred there. Her husband, I forgot his name, but he was a judge in the time back in Cincinnati. And he was a judge, and they had two sons. One was Jimmy, the one that died as a result of the football injury, the blood infection that he had. And the second one was a little bit better known as in latter days as the future owner of the Cincinnati Reds, and that would be Louis Nippert. Okay, Louis Nippert's grandfather was James Gamble, and he had his fortune from the Procter & Gamble fortune. Okay, so Louis Nippert ended up eventually owning the Reds, and he became a minority partner after he sold his majority interest later on. And this would have been at the time of the Big Red Machine. Louis Nippert would have been in the ownership group. Okay, if not as the principal owner, at least as a minority owner. But Louis Nippert was a very well-known person here in Cincinnati for his involvement with the Reds. Okay, so we are ready for our next ad break. Let's go ahead and do that right now while we're thinking about it, and we will see you back here in a minute, and we will get to game number 3 at Carson Field at Nippert Stadium. Okay, gang, I was back catching up on chat, and Erie GM came in with the interesting stat that our playing numbers have gone from 53.8K players down to 14.3K. And that is about as close to a 75% decrease as you can get, I do believe. It's somewhere between 70 and 75% decrease. And 1,798 leagues as opposed to 480. Yeah, that would be directly responsible for the lower number of relegations and promotions. 100% directly. Okay, that would be enough to boggle the mind, quite frankly. Okay, and Extreme UW comes back and says, actually, I'm not surprised. I'm part of that stat. Only one team this year, and you really don't care how it finishes from week to week. Okay, and I appreciate Extreme UW's comment that he likes seeing the packs get ripped open. I like doing them myself. That's why I kind of covet those things like little nuggets of gold. You know, I like to hoard those suckers. Okay, so we are ready to go play us game number 3 of the simulation at Carson Field at Nippert Stadium on the University of Cincinnati campus. Let's go. Okay, Gary Nolan against Jack Harper. Gary Nolan, righty against Jack Harper, another righty. Okay, let's see what we got here. The 1904 Reds pulled out their first win of the series. And look at another low-scoring affair, only 2-1. There's some potent offenses, especially on the 76 Reds. So, excuse me, my hat's off to the 1904 Reds to holding that offensive machine, otherwise known as the 76 Reds, holding them down to 5 runs over 3 games. That's something I never would have dreamed would have happened. Okay, and the 76 Reds have held down the 1904 Reds to 3 runs over 3 games, but the 1904 team took out the 76 team 2-1. Swarmstead was the winning pitcher, and Raleigh Eastwick took the loss. The home run, the only one, belonged to Cy Seymour. Okay, a lefty batter playing center field. So let's take a look at the box score. Okay, and the 2 runs. Oh, look it was a late extra inning walk-off. Fred Odwell. I'm pretty sure that's him. I'm pretty sure that's who that was Fred Odwell. Yes, Fred Odwell. Fred Odwell grounded out and drove in a run from third base against Raleigh Eastwick, and that allowed the 1904 Reds to walk it off in extras. Exciting ball game. So back here in the bottom of the 6th was when the home run would have been hit off the bat of Cy Seymour, right? It was Cy. Yeah, Cy Seymour hit the home run, and the Reds from 76 got their run in the 5th inning on a bases loaded walk against Mr. Harper. Okay, the starting pitcher, Jack Harper, okay, he walked in a run to allow the 76 Reds to get on the board, but that's all he allowed. But he was not the winning pitcher because the game was decided very, very late in the bottom of the 10th with a walk-off job courtesy of a bases loaded walk. I'm sorry, no, not a bases loaded walk, a ground out that got a run in from third base. Okay, my old fart memory cells are playing tricks on me again. Okay, why is Cincinnati called the Reds? They were originally the Red Stockings there in Jay Sherman. They were the Red Stockings, and I think they went with the Reds to avoid some confusion between them and the Boston team. Okay, that's what I think. That's at least that's my take on it. That they went from Red Stockings to Reds so they wouldn't be confused with the Boston Red Sox. Okay, even though the shades of red are slightly different, there's a little bit more purple to the Boston flavor of red. Okay, more like a magenta, at least in my sight. Or a deeper, darker red, let's put it that way. Slightly deeper and darker red, where the Cincinnati red is a bright, not quite fire engine red, but a brighter shade of red. Okay? So anyway, let's get out of here. We got another simulate to do. This will be game number 4 with the series at 2-1 in favor of 1976. So let's go ahead and move on, and we will simulate game 4. And what do we have here but a 2-2 tie? Oh, and look at a higher scoring affair, but still extremely close here. The biggest margin of victory has been when 1976 shut out 1904 2-0. These have all otherwise been 1-run affairs. Let's look at the box score on this one. No home runs. Will McEnany took took a loss here, okay? And Swarmstedt got his second win. Okay, let's find out how this occurred here. This was not an extra inning affair, but oh, take a look. Still a walk-off win for the 1904 team because they came back with 4 runs in the bottom of the ninth. They were down 6-3 going into the bottom of the ninth, and they scored 4 to eke out a walk-off victory. Despite committing 2 errors, and they out-hit the 1976 team 14-8. So look at the seesaw here. Here's 1976 up here, and then down here there's 1904. Eesh, what a reversal of fortune, all in 1/2 an inning. Okay? So, in the top of the 7th, the 76 Reds scored a 5 spot. But that was after they spotted the 1904 Reds to a 3-0 lead. Okay? So, I think we have to look at the game log here to try to get an accurate picture. Let's look at the game log real quick. Okay. Okay, here's our first scoring with the bottom of the 2nd. Okay. This is the 1904 team. I think they get 2 runs here. Yes, they do. Okay, we have a single off the bat of Fred Odwell. Cy Seymour gets up and he hits a single himself and drives Odwell over to second. Then we have a 3rd single in a row that loads the bases, but take a look. Odwell comes around and he scores on the throw from center field home. So it is now 1-0 in favor of 1904. Heine Peets gets up, hits a fly ball to center field, and the runner at second base tags up and makes it to third base with no throw by Cesar Geronimo. Tommy Corcoran is now the next man up. He hits a single that drove in Cy Seymour with the 2nd run of the game for the 1904 Reds. With Steinfeld going to second, we have a sacrifice bunt to move the runners over from 1st and 2nd to 2nd and 3rd. Next guy up, Miller Huggins hits a fly out to the 3rd baseman on a line drive, caught it on the fly. Doesn't look like it had a whole lot of pepper on it. It was only 66.2 on the exit velocity, so it may have had a little bit of loft to it. But anyway, that's how the first 2 runs of the ball game scored for 1904. Top of the 3rd, we don't have any scoring. Bottom of the 3rd, we have no scoring. Top of the 4th, we have no scoring. Nothing there. Top of the 5th, nothing there. Bottom of the 5th, nothing there. Top of the 6th, nothing there. Bottom of the 6th. Okay, the 1904 team picked up their 3rd run with a 1-out single after Jimmy Sebring grounded out to the 3rd baseman. Okay, so he gets on with a single, 1-out single. Joe Kelly does. Fred Odwell gets up there and flies it out to center field, deep enough so that Mr. Kelly can tag up from first and make it to second base. Okay, Cy Seymour gets up and hits himself a single, and Seymour rounds third and heads for home, and he comes home with the 3rd 1904 Reds run. Okay. Then we get to the top of the 7th. We had some scoring go on. This is a lot of scoring going on here for the 1976 Reds. JB gets on with a leadoff walk. Concepcion gets another walk. They're 1st and 2nd now, no outs. The next man up, Bob Bailey, hits him a double that brought in JB. Concepcion rounds 3rd and comes home, and a 2-run double off the bat of Mr. Bob Bailey. Okay, and the trailing runner, that would be Bailey. He made it all the way to 3rd on the throw home, I do believe. Okay. Oh, to the trailing runner. They did try to get him at 3rd. They did not try to get Concepcion at home. They tried to get the runner at 3rd, and he still came in safe. Okay, on the fly ball to right field. All right. So, next man up. We changed pitchers now. Tom Walker is out. Cozy Dolan is now in. Ken Griffey Sr. is up, and he flies out to right field on a line drive, 93.8 on the exit velocity. So we now have still, okay, there's only one out. There's only one out. That's the first out of the inning. Then we have a walk to Peter Edward Rose. Then we have a strikeout to Little Joe Morgan. Okay, cool. And then we have a single from George Foster that scored Bob Bailey, and Pete Rose goes to second. Okay, and we have some more scoring going on. There's a base on balls issued to Dan Dreesen that drives Pete Rose to third, George Foster to second. The pond has all the ducks on it. Bases are loaded now with, I believe, still only one out. Okay. Then we have a single off the bat of Cesar Geronimo on the first pitch he sees and drives Pete Rose in. Foster's now on third, Dreesen on second, and Geronimo on first. Then we have a bases loaded walk to score Foster. Oh, baby. Look at all that scoring going on. And now we got our last out coming up off the bat of Davey Concepcion. Did they have a bat around? They did bat around. JB, the second time he came up to bat, was batting around. So that would have been 11 batters in that inning for the 76 Reds, and they scored 5 times. Okay? And that was essentially about it. There's an extra run that got scored in the top of the 8th, a little bit of an insurance run off the bat of Mr. Little Joe Morgan. He grounded out and allowed Doug Flynn to score on his ground out, and Pete Rose went to second on the ground out. Looks like a fielder's choice of sorts. Okay. Yep, I would dare say so, even though the box score didn't say that, or the game log didn't say so. So top of the 8th, no scoring here, still 6-3, then still 6-3. Then here we're going to have us 4 more runs come across in the bottom of the 9th. Holy moly. So a leadoff double from Harry Steinfeld. Heine Peets gets up and hits a fly out to left field, and the runner from second tags up and made it to third base without a throw from left fielder. I think that would have been George Foster, or maybe Danny Dreesen. I forget now who was playing left that year. I think it might have been Dreesen. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, so Cozy Dolan. Okay, no, yeah, Tommy Corcoran gets up and hits a single to drive in Steinfeld. And we still have one out because of the fly out off of Pete's. Okay, so Cozy Dolan gets up and he flies out. Now we're 2 outs. 2 outs? Yes, 2 outs now. So all this other scoring happens with 2 men out. Okay, let's see what happens here. Miller Huggins gets up, hits a single. Corcoran goes to second. Here's another base on balls to Admiral Schley, and he loads up the bases with 2 outs. And then Woodruff gets up and he hits a single that drives in another run. So the 1904 Reds are still down by 1 run at this point, I do believe. It should be 6-5. Then here you have Miller Huggins coming around to score because he rounded third and came home. A 2-run single off the bat of Sam Woodruff. So that would have tied the score up. The winning run came off the bat of Mr. Fred Odwell, and on a 0-1 pitch, hits a single past the second baseman up the middle, and that was enough to bring Admiral Schley home with the winning walk-off run. What an exciting ball game. Hey, so we are even up 2-2. We might not actually play any. We might just simulate this all the way out, because we only have 10 minutes until our next ad break. We could simulate all day long at this rate, as long as we look at the items of interest. I wouldn't mind if this went 7 games, but I still have to cut it off at about 5 o'clock because I've got some cooking to do today. I'm making a half recipe of keto cream of mushroom soup, which will call for about half a pound of cut up mushrooms that I will saute in some butter, and then put in some cream and other spices, and scrape up some mushroom debris from the bottom of the skillet, cast iron skillet, and then run an immersion blender into that to grind up some of the mushrooms a little bit, to make them into mush and get integrated with the cream sauce a little bit. And it'll be pretty good. I think I've got that recipe in the food channel on my Discord. If you look closely enough, I think you'll find that recipe in there, because I do remember talking about it there, and I'm pretty sure I posted it. Okay, so we are done here. Let us go and play game number 5 at the University of Cincinnati campus on Carson Field at Nippert Stadium. We are ready to finish today, and we're going to do game number 5. And what happens here? Oh, the 76 Reds end up doing a little bit of damage. Now they take their first, this is the first game of the entire series that the visiting team has won. So the 76 Reds have some momentum going for them, and look at it. It was a 9-4 wipeout, an absolute wipeout. So the 76 Reds are ahead 3-2. Maybe we'll have a chance to play at least a few innings of a main game here. So let's take, I don't even want to take a look at the log that much. I want to get into some gameplay. So let's go ahead and finish today. And we are going to get on to the next day, which makes it today here. So it's Bob Ewing and Fred Norman again. And let's go ahead and play this one out. And if I have to jump around a little bit, we'll jump around. And if it looks like the 1904 team is going to come back and tie it up, then I'll simulate Game 7, and we will crown a World Series champion between 1904 and 1976. Okay, so we have computer AI running the entire show. We're going to do that, and I think we are ready to start this baby. So, okay, let's see. The attendance is 12,572. There is rain coming down up on University of Cincinnati's hill, okay? Which I believe is technically referred to as Mount Auburn, okay? So let's start the game. Or no, it's probably referred to not as Mount Auburn, but probably Clifton Hill, okay? Because UC is in Clifton, and Clifton has its own hill. Mount Auburn is a little over east of there, okay? Christ Hospital, that overlooks the downtown area from its lofty perch up on Mount Auburn, with the nighttime beacon shining onto the little cupola architectural adornment on top of Christ Hospital that has a cross atop of it, obviously, hence the name, okay, or hence the honorific of the name. But anyway, Christ Hospital is on Mount Auburn, and it's a little bit east of Clifton Hill. Let us move on, and we will get this game started. We got Freddie Norman on the mound, lefty against the righty Miller Huggins, and with, let's see what happens here with a 2-2 count. Here's the first batter of the game, and let's see how Huggins does against him. Hits it to the shortstop Concepcion, who throws Huggins out. So that's an easy out, 1 down, and we are now up with Jimmy Sebring, lefty on lefty. Lefty Freddie Norman against lefty Jimmy Sebring. Let us move on, and with a 1-ball count, Sebring hits it and finds some grass out there in left center. So Sebring is aboard with a 1-out single. Okay, and we are playing this in the 1904 ballpark, which looks a little bit bigger than it probably was back then. Okay, so let's see. We have Joe Kelly up now for the 1904 team. And with a 2-1 count, he hits it, and that one finds some grass also. So we have runners at first and third now. Only 1 out, and the 1904 team is threatening to make some noise here in the top, or in the Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Wait a second here. Wait a second. No, yeah, we're playing in Riverfront now. We're not playing at Carson Field anymore. We are playing in Riverfront. And the cement donut look isn't quite there, so I don't quite have the full feel yet. But we have men now on first and second with only one out. Because I thought I saw a runner go to third base, but no, that was a defensive player that I saw going to third instead. All right, let's move on, and we will get Fred Odwell up, lefty on lefty action. Men on first and second with one out, and on a one ball pitch. Double play ball. Double play ball. A little 6-4-3 action there. Ouch. So we have nothing going for the 1904 team in the top of the first. 1976 coming up to bat. The score, nothing. Okay, so we got us Ken Griffey Sr. up at the plate. And let's see here. Let me think here. Let me think. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Ken Griffey, the right fielder, is up, and with a 2-1 count, hits it on a line drive to left field. So he got a fly out on a 2-1 count. Let's see how our next batter up, and I think if memory serves me correctly, the next batter up might be Joe Morgan. Am I right? No, Pete Rose is up second. Okay. If I look at my batting order over here, that might be helpful a little bit. Okay. Okay, nothing new. Nothing new in chat. So let's keep on going here. The 76 Reds are up to bat. Peter Edward Rose, graduate of Western Hills High School in Cincinnati. Okay, out on Ferguson Avenue. So he's up and with a 3-1 count, draws a walk. So we have a man on first base with one out. And we now get little Joe Morgan up at the plate. And on a 3-0 count, he takes a walk, a 4-pitch variety walk. Okay? So Rose is now on second, Joe Morgan on first. 2-man on with only one out. The 76 Reds are threatening to make some noise here. Let's go ahead and get George Foster, the hammer, up to the plate. And with, on the first pitch he sees, a double play to get out of the inning. So one double play gets the other team out, and the same thing happens in the bottom of the inning. So we had double play answering double play to end innings. So after one inning complete, we have no score between the 1904 Reds and the 1976 Reds. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Okay, so we now have Cy Seymour up against lefty Fred Norman. Lefty on lefty action here. And with a one-strike pitch, hits it to second base. Little Joe throws him out to Doggy Perez. And we are down one out in the inning. The 1904 Reds have the only 2 hits of the game. The 76 Reds, I believe, they had some walks issued, and that's how they got their 2 runners aboard. So they are still technically being no hit. Okay, now next batter up is going to be Harry Steinfeld, and on a full count, he hits it to second base, and they throw him out easily out from Joe Morgan to Perez. So he is out. 2 down now, and the next man up is Heine Peets with a 1-2 count.
Strike 3.
He struck out swinging. Oh baby, nice pitch there from Freddie Norman. So after 1.5 innings, it's still nothing between teams. Okay, we have 3 minutes left until our last ad break. In fact, let's go ahead and take it right now while we're in between innings. Okay, here's our next and final ad break of the day. So catch on, folks. Here we go. Let's hear from our sponsors. Okay, gang, we are back. And I'm going to make an executive decision here because we only have 10 minutes to finish this World Series. I'm going to jump ahead a bit because I do, at about 10 minutes till the hour, I need to do the 25,000 perfect point giveaway. So we are going to make that decision right now. In case we do need to play a game 7, I'm going to jump ahead to the 8th inning. Okay? And the 1976 Reds are threatening to walk off with this. Okay? Let's go ahead and start the top of the 8th and see if the 1904 team can answer for themselves and keep the 76 team from walking off with this series and winning at home. Okay? Next man up is Harry Steinfeld. Freddie Norman still pitching for the 76 Reds. Okay? He is still pitching for them, and Bob Ewing is still pitching on the 1904 side. So the starting pitchers are still in there despite 3 runs coming across for the 76 Reds so far. So let's go ahead and continue on. Harry Steinfeld up, and on a 2-strike count, struck out swinging at a screwball from Freddie Norman. And the lefty gets in another K. Let's see how he is faring on his strikeouts. He has 6 strikeouts today and only 1 walk. And a 0.00 ERA so far in this entire series. He has yet to give up an earned run. He might be, and you might be looking at the MVP of this World Series if he can hold the 1904 team scoreless in 2 different starting pitching appearances. That might be worthy of an MVP performance. Okay, let's go ahead and keep on moving. Next man up is Heine Peets, and with 2 strikes on him, throws it or gets it to Concepcion at short, and he throws out Peets at first. So we're 2 men down in the top of the 8th. And Tommy Corcoran, the subject of a Perfect Team 22 or 23 card, is up to the bat, and he still facing Freddie Norman. Freddie throws him on a 1-1 pitch, grounds it out to Doggy Perez at first, and we are out of the top of the 8th. I'm going to jump ahead to the 9th, making another executive decision. Oh baby. Okay, it's all over now except the shouting. 3 more runs for the 76 Reds in the bottom of the 8th inning. I think we can stick a fork in these 1904 Reds. They look like they're pretty well done to me. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on, and we'll finish this game and hopefully finish this series. Cozy Dolan is now up, and it looks like he got himself a shot right up the middle, and he's on with a leadoff single. Okay, so he's standing on first with nobody out, and with a 2-1 count, Freddie Norman. Cozy Dolan got picked off first base by JB, throwing from behind the batter. Holy moly, 1 man out and nobody on base now in the bottom of, or the top of the 9th. That was an expensive running mistake for the 1904 team. Yikes, that one hurt so bad I could feel it from here. Okay, so 1 man down, and Miller Huggins still at the plate on a 3-1 count. What happens? Pitch from Freddie Norman.
Strike 3.
Strike 3. Oh, it ended up being a full count. Okay, I missed that. It was 3-1, I think, on the throw behind the batter to get to pick off Cozy Dolan at first base. And then there was another strike in there, and then he ended up striking out Miller Huggins on a swing and a miss. So we are down now to our final out of this game and perhaps of this series. Okay, 6-0 Reds. Let's go. Whatever. Okay, well, the Reds are guaranteed to win this game, and they're also guaranteed to win this series. Let's see how it goes. I like those kinds of series. Okay. Okay, Grizzly Old Dude, the revamped auction house with the reserve. Okay, I believe is a big contributor to the down numbers. hard to say. I think it's just a different flavor on the same thing. I would dare say, Grizzly Old Dude, I would dare say that the lower numbers, I think, are mostly contributed by the late start to the game in the game cycle, because other baseball simulation games beat this one out of the gate by, in some cases, a somewhat considerable margin. So some folks chose to spend their dollars elsewhere. And I think mostly for that reason, and I think you have Amazon to thank for that, because it was their decision to shut down their back-end servers that screwed us over large. Okay, last man up, Jimmy Sebring. Let's see what he does on a 3-1 pitch. Walks with 2 men out. Jimmy Sebring now on first base. Next man up is going to be Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly now on a 1-2 count, hits it, and it's going to find some grass in left field, and they are at first and second base with 2 outs now. The 1904 team is trying to make some noise. I don't know if it's going to be too little too late, because they got 6 runs to make up just to get a tie, and they're down 2 outs already. Let's see what the next man up can do, and that's going to be Fred Odwell. And on the first pitch he sees, the ball got away from JB. He kept it in front of him. Nobody moved. Nobody moved up. So no pass ball, no wild pitch. So with 1 ball, here's the next pitch to Mr. Odwell. And now with, still a 1 ball count, a little pop up to center field, and there's the final out of the ball game. The 1976 Cincinnati Reds are the returning, and still, for this stretch anyway, undefeated World Series champions of our historical simulation of the week, and they will be back to play yet another mystery team next week. So congrats to the 76 Reds, and GG's to the 1904 Reds. They put up a valiant fight, winning 2 games at home before giving up the 2 deciding games of the series. They put on a good show against a really, really strong 1976 outfit. So I'm proud of both teams for their collective efforts. So let's see if we can figure out what the box score looked like here. Because, okay, we had 6 runs scored. What happened in the bottom of the 4th? Okay, bottom of the 4th, let's see. Bottom of the 4th, Foster hit a single. And then Dan Dreesen hit a run-scoring single. Then the bottom of the 5th, Griffey Sr. hit a solo home run. So Dreesen accounted for 1 run, at least, in the bottom of the 4th. And then we had 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. JB with a 2-run double, accounting for 2 of those 3 runs. So we had 4 ribbies there, or it looks like 3 ribbies off Danny Dreesen and JB. 3 of the 6 ribbies came off of there. But let's see who got to be the, hang on a second, back here, I want to look at leave the game. And there you go. As predicted, Freddie Norman was the World Series MVP with his 0.00 ERA and a 2-0 record as a starting pitcher. So Freddie Norman got himself a decent deserved, I guess, I forget what the MVP award would have been back then. Perhaps it was a car, maybe it was just a trophy, but who knows, who cares. Freddie Norman was the series MVP, and congrats to him for winning that award. And we are ready to finish today and get out of this series and get ready to draw us a giveaway winner. Okay? And my 5th and final drop has come in, and we are ready to go. 32 and 42. I've got me another ace of bronze I need to spam. Let's do that. And 48. Before I do the giveaway, I've got to look at this 32 tournament. 32 has been running for a while. 32 has been running for a while because there's a gap basis of 16 numbers between 32 and 48. That means we may be close to packs if we're not already into packs. I like my packs. I want to see some packs at a minimum of 3. Nice little catchy beat. We're leading in the quarterfinal 1-0. 1 game to nothing. We beat the Alexandria Dukes 5-zip. And the Alexandria Dukes are different from the other Dukes that we were ahead of. Look at who these Dukes belong to. Our buddy, Bry Dave. Okay, so good luck, Bry Dave. Hope that you do well, but not too well. I'd like to be able to get me some packs out of this one, and I'm sure you would like to get some packs as well. Okay, we're going to get out of here and come on back to get our giveaway ready. We're going to get our giveaway ready to go. Yeah. If you love your packs, why don't I marry them? Because I'm already happily married. There are other romantic festivities that take place with the packs. It's called ripping. I rip them open. Because, yeah, I've been happily married for 45 years. I'm a dad of 4, grandfather of 8. Nope. My packs are what are the lifeblood of my team because I am otherwise free to play. Okay, I invested a little money, admittedly, in buying tournament cards only. Okay, I invested a little bit of money. Rip them to shreds? Oh, you bet I do. I love to rip them to shreds. So, anyway, long way around the horn. We are about ready to get ourselves into a giveaway sitch, and I'm getting ready to get into that. Let's be ready. I'm going to start it up momentarily. Got to do a little copy paste action here so it keeps everything consistent with what we've had before. So the winner of this giveaway is going to be getting 25,000 perfect points to walk out of here with. And what I will need at the end of the giveaway, once a winner is announced, I will need to get via a Twitch whisper that I will initiate. I will initiate a Twitch whisper to the winner, and I will need to get the correct capitalization on your OOTP account name that you want the 25K to go to. Okay, and that will be the last thing we do after the giveaway before I go look for somebody to raid out of here. Okay, so we are getting ready to start this thing, and you can start entering, and I need to give you the ground rules too. Like DishNet gives his ground rules every time, I have to give mine every time as well. Okay, I already told you about the correct capitalization on your perfect team manager name or account name. Okay, 2 other disclaimers, maybe 3 others. Exclamation point enter, exclamation point ticket. Either one will get you in. Only do one, not both. Don't put a number after the command. It's exclamation point enter and then hit your enter button. Exclamation point ticket. Hit your enter button on your keyboard. Don't put in a number or it will kick you out of the giveaway. Only use one of the 2 commands. Don't use both the commands or that will kick you out of the giveaway. The text that comes up from Stream Elements, I would love to be able to edit that stuff, but I have no control over it. They say exclamation point enter or exclamation point ticket with a number. And they put a number 1 there to enter. I have no control over that. If you put a number after your command, it won't take it. It will kick you out. So that's your one and only warning. Exclamation point enter, no number. Exclamation point ticket, no number. Only do one, not both. And make sure you only do the one that you decide to do, only do it once. Because if you accidentally enter a second time, it will kick you out as well. Okay? So let's get ready and get this thing started. And we'll start taking entries. Exclamation point ticket or exclamation point enter. Okay, 30 some seconds before it actually starts, but you can enter starting now. And if you look at your screen on stream, you'll see how long the giveaway has. We're in the minus seconds now. Okay. Excellent point, everybody. Okay, good to see all those entries in there. We are up to 14, 16 entries, 17, 18. A whole bunch of people getting in today. They want those perfect points. 21, 22. Hey, we're well on the way to getting our highest number of entries ever. So yeah, the giveaway actually started just now, but we have 24 entries already. 24 entries. Let's go. We're going to let it run for a couple of minutes before we call it quits. And I can report to you while I'm waiting for the giveaway to count out its time. I am now leading my quarterfinal with the Alexandria Dukes of Bry Dave. I'm now leading 2 games to nothing because the sim just came in and I won that one as well. Okay, we have a minute and a half left in the giveaway and we're up to 32 entries. Exclamation point ticket, exclamation point enter. Either one will work. Don't use both. Only use one and only use it once. Okay. Mr. Pops 5341 and let's see, I'm trying to figure this out. Woot Mo Mute 2. Wait a minute, that's not Newt to Newt, is it? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, if it is. Because a Fortnite streamer that I've been following for quite some time went out and bought him a copy of OOTP, and that might be him. Nice. Okay. I hope that is you, Newt to Newt. I hope it is. And we are up to 37 entries with about 15 seconds left to run. Okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The giveaway is closed. The giveaway is closed. We have 37 entries out there. Thanks for entering, everybody. Good luck, everybody. And let's see who the winner is going to be. Who is the winner going to be? It's going to be Cubs fan 23 Steve. Is this a fix or what? You've won 2 of these now, haven't you, buddy? Ha 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 ha! Congratulations, Cubs fan 23 Steve. Nice going, buddy. I'll check out your Twitch Whisper, and I think it should still be active. Let me double check it real quick. Because I should have a history for you. I should have a history for you. And the history that I have for you, I have a manager name already. Are we going to be using the same manager name that we used last time? Are we going to use the same OOTP account, or do you want a different one? Okay? If you want a different one, please put it in your Twitch Whisper between you and me. You do want it to go to the same one? It will go to the same one. And we already know that that is a verified account name, because I've already verified that it exists in the OOTP universe. So congratulations again to Cubs fan 23 Steve for winning the giveaway for the second time in just a very, very few weeks, I do believe. Yeah, because the last time I talked to him was back on September 4th, only 2 weeks ago. So he has won 2 of the last 3 giveaways. Lucky duck. Okay, so thanks everybody for entering, and congrats again to Cubs fan 23 Steve. We are going to go out. I'm going to go out to Twitch land and see if I can find somebody for us to raid. So hang on, folks. Here we go. I'm going out to look, and I'm looking for any other games in town who are doing Out of the Park 23. And it looks like Nershabenko is out there. He's only got 2 viewers at the present. So we're going to send you to Nershabenko. He will be able to give you Twitch drops for OOTP, just like you get off of me. So in the meantime, I'm going to get ready to start this raid and get ready to say bye-bye to everybody. Okay? Okay, so we're going to raid Nershabenko. Alrighty, so in the meantime, I'm starting the raid in the background, and it's going to be Gorgo 2005, rounding third and heading for home. Thanks a lot for spending time with the old fart today. We'll catch everybody later. I am tickled, fricking, absolutely, hallelujah, pink that we didn't have any technical difficulties today like we had yesterday. Okay? So anyway, the raid has been created. So we're going to send you off there. So everybody have a great rest of your day. And we will catch you all later, hopefully Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And in the meantime, take care and bye-bye.